Hello, my name is Mike Wallace, Director of Educator Support for the Math Learning Center. I'm going to talk to you about the guidance documents that MLC has created to support teachers during the 2020-2021 school year. The guidance documents are designed to help teachers answer several important questions as they approach the 2020-2021 school year.
Should I adjust the Bridges scope and sequence to address unfinished learning from the last year? If so, how? How to identify and address students' learning needs while maintaining grade-level instruction? What Bridges resources to use to address students' needs? What changes can be made to instruction to meet mandates regarding hygiene and social distancing? Please note that although the guidance documents were built under the assumption that students would return to school in the fall, they can also provide guidance about which content to prioritize for remote and hybrid learning. MLC's guidance documents have been shaped by recommendations from the Centers for Disease Control regarding social distancing and research from student achievement partners and the New Teacher Project on how best to re-engage students in learning and meet grade-level standards. The traditional approach to remediation has been to start the school year with review and remediation from the previous grade. Unfortunately, this approach delays access to grade-level content and often creates a vicious cycle for our most vulnerable students. Based on recommendations from the New Teacher Project, MLC's approach is to teach students what they need to know when they need to know it. Our goal is to accelerate learning by providing opportunities for students to re-engage with skills and concepts from the previous grade level if and when needs emerge during the work of the current grade level. You might think of this as a just-in-time approach to re-engagement. This recommendation comes from studies that examined the impact of Hurricane Katrina in 2005 on students' school experiences. With this in mind, MLC is providing several guidance documents. These include revised scope and sequences for each grade level, unit screeners, screener implementation guides, and revised unit planners. Let's begin our tour of the guidance documents with a look at how scope and sequences have been adjusted to address unfinished work from the previous grade level. This revised scope and sequence is from second grade, and you'll notice that modules have been color-coded. The color coding indicates whether some sessions within a module may be skipped, whether a module should be moved to the end of the school year, or whether entire modules may be deleted from the scope and sequence altogether. Now let's look at the standards on the scope and sequence. With a quick look, you can see where the standards from the previous grade level are addressed. All standards on the scope and sequence are either bold or gray. Bolded standards are those that are critical for the grade level. Gray standards are those that are supporting or additional for the grade level. It's important to note revisions to the scope and sequence don't look the same from grade to grade. Once you finish watching this video, you will want to look closely at the scope and sequence at your grade level to see how it has been adjusted. Now let's examine unit screeners. Unit screeners address the question of how teachers can identify and address students' learning needs while maintaining grade-level instruction in the critical areas of focus. Unit screeners are brief, 5 problems or fewer, and are designed to help teachers identify students' learning needs as they enter the unit of study. Here's an example of a screener for Grade 3, Unit 2, which focuses on introducing students to multiplication in a variety of contexts and models. As you can see, the questions on this screener focus on prerequisites for multiplication, skip counting, doubling, arrays, and grouping. Each unit screener has a corresponding implementation guide. For every question on the screener, the implementation guide includes the standards it's aligned to, an answer key, a description of the current expectation, and a set of activities for re-engagement. Any grouping to address learning needs should be considered flexible, fluid, and temporary. Note that teachers will have the option of digitizing unit screeners by converting them to a Google form. Then, students will be able to type in answers, upload images of their work, and respond to multiple choice questions. Unit screeners also include recording sheets that can be converted to Google Docs. It's important to note that screener recording sheets explicitly define what meeting current expectations means for each task. They do not, however, provide a numerical scoring guide. Instead, teachers should code student responses in the way that makes the best sense to them. To determine which Bridges resources to use to address the needs of your students, let's take a look at the revised unit planners. Each revised unit planner begins with a brief introduction to the unit. As you can see, Grade 3, Unit 2 is an introduction to multiplication. Teachers can expect to see a summary of the major concepts and skills students will engage in, a description of the topics for re-engagement from the previous grade, and recommended modifications that teachers can make to support their students during Unit 2. In Grade 3, Unit 2, the topics for re-engagement are prerequisite skills for an introduction to multiplication. These topics and skills are directly connected to the screeners we saw earlier. Teachers can adjust their planning and pacing based on the type of thinking students demonstrated on the screener items. The unit planners also address a question on many teachers' minds. What changes can I make to my math instruction to take into account hygiene and social distancing requirements? Specific workplaces and specific modifications for social distancing and hygiene are included in the Unit 1 revised planner at every grade level. The modifications suggested in the Unit 1 planner can be applied across many of the workplaces used throughout the school year. Next, let's move to Number Corner. This year, it will be especially important to implement Number Corner as a way to preview, review, and assess students' thinking and skills. At the same time, many districts are starting the year with remote learning, and that may mean less teaching time with students. With that in mind, MLC reviewed all 5 workouts for each month and prioritized those that are most essential. Please note, each unit planner will include 2 months of Number Corner notes to accommodate district pacing needs. For example, this Grade 3 unit planner includes Number Corner notes for September and October. Finally, let's take a look at the session-specific recommendations within the unit planner. This sample is from Grade 3, Unit 2. The unit planner is designed to walk teachers through each module and session with suggestions for teaching and assessing student learning. In some cases, we added additional modules or sessions for workplace practice and small group just-in-time instruction. On the far right, you'll notice a column with hyperlinked activities for re-engagement. These links will take you directly to previous grade level workplaces and Number Corner workouts, as well as your current grade level resources. These activities for re-engagement focus on the foundational concepts and skills that are often essential to understanding the concepts within the unit. You can choose to do these activities as a whole class or in a small group during workplaces, depending on your screener and observational data. Most of the time, these activities will take about 10 to 15 minutes of your instructional time. Above all, as you get to know your students, we urge you to trust in their resilience and mathematical capabilities and keep moving forward. You may wonder if the unit planners have been revised, how this will impact the unit post-assessments. Because some sessions have been omitted, we recommend the assessment items for those concepts be omitted or made optional. Here is an example from Grade 3, Unit 2. As you can see, we recommend that all students complete problems 2, 5, 7, and 9, and that they solve additional problems only if time or interest allows. It is important to remember that the activities for re-engagement in the revised unit planners come from previous grade levels and Bridges intervention. To access these activities, you may need to change your settings. To do so, simply open your settings on the top right corner of the Bridges Educator site, and then select the grade level materials you wish to see. All of the guidance documents referenced today can be found on the Bridges Educator site. Starting at the BES home screen, you'll see a yellow rectangle labeled Resources and Support for 2021. From here, click on the link for resources and support in this school year. At the top of the screen, you'll notice a section with the title Overview. Click on the grade level that you wish to see. The link will bring you to that grade level's guidance documents. In addition to this video, MLC is offering teachers, schools, and districts several options for support. Starting in the fall of 2020, MLC will offer monthly grade level support webinars. Each webinar will preview an upcoming unit, introduce tasks within the unit planner, and provide Bridges teachers an opportunity to engage with one another. If you are interested, registration information is available on the Bridges Educator site. For schools and districts looking for a more in-depth examination of the guidance documents, the Math Learning Center offers support workshops for a fee. To learn more about this option, contact the Math Learning Center using the email or address on the screen.
I hope you found this tour of the MLC guidance documents for 2020-2021 helpful. The Math Learning Center is committed to offering guidance and resources to teachers and schools through these unprecedented times. We wish you the very best as you support your students this year.